Converting fractions to decimals includes dividing the numerator of the fraction by the denominator. So we have fractions and decimals, and they represent the same things. They represent numbers that are not whole numbers. Sometimes when we're comparing which fraction is larger, it's hard to find a common denominator, or the common denominator is very large. And in those cases, we can convert the fractions to decimals and see which one is larger a little more easily. To write a fraction as a decimal, we're going to divide the numerator by the denominator. Okay, so remember your numerator is your top number and your denominator is the bottom number. For example, in words we have 5/8. 5/8. So as a model, this circle has 8 pieces, so 5/8 would be coloring 5 out of 8 pieces. Okay, so it's a little more than half. 5/8 is a little bit more than half of this circle. As a fraction, we would write 5/8, fractional form. And then as a decimal, 5/8, we're going to drop that top number to the right, clockwise, and 8 will divide into it. So your top number always goes inside the house, in other words. It will be 5 divided by 8, and then we add a decimal and a couple of zeros probably to figure out what our decimal form is going to be. So when we divide, we would start with 8 into 50. I'm going to put my decimal up already just to start that. Here's my decimal. 8 into 50 is going to go 6 times. 48. 20. 8 into 20 goes 2 times. And pull down another 0. 8 into 40 goes 5 times. So my decimal form is going to be 0.625 for 5/8. And that's going to be 625 thousandths. Here's another example. Ms. Grimsley purchased 2 pizzas for dinner. Her husband ate 3/5 of the pizza. Write 3/5 in 3 different forms. In words, I want you to write it out in words. Then I want you to shade 3/5 on this number line. And then I want you to divide it out. 3 divided by 5. So the 3 is going to go on the inside of the house. And tell me what the decimal form of 3/5 is. When you have mixed numbers, whole numbers with fractions, we can also make these into decimals. Write out the words for the mixed number 3 and 3/4. So in words it would be 3 and 3/4. On the number line, to shade it, okay, you're going to shade between 0 and 3 and 3/4. And then as a decimal, here's how we're going to do it. So 3 and 3/4. We have a whole number here, which is 3. This is going to become the whole number in front of our decimal. It's going to be 3 point something. Now we're going to turn the fraction into a decimal. So 3/4 is 3/4. And you should know that 3/4 is worth how many cents? 75 cents. So this will be 375. You could also, if you didn't know what the fraction was as a decimal, it would be 3 divided by 4. The 3 drops down to the right. And then a couple of zeros. 4 will go into 37 times and into 25 times. Bring your decimal straight up and 0.75. So 3 and 3/4, we keep the 3 as the whole number and then put our decimal. Then we divide out our fraction and put that after the decimal. All right, here are some more. Converting fractions to decimals. This would be 18 divided by 3. 18 divided by 3 is going to be 6. So our answer here for number 1, example 1, is 6. I want you to do number 2 on your own. And and also 4 and 6 on your own, and I'm going to do number 3 with you, and then you can do number 5. So number 3 is 7 1/5. I'm going to make that into a decimal. I can keep my whole number and put the decimal after it. Then I just need to divide out the fraction. 1 divided by 5. So that's 1 divided by 5. I'm going to put a decimal and a 0 here. Decimal goes straight up, and then 5 cannot go into 1, but it can go into 10 2 times. So now I have 7.2 for my decimal form. All right, you're going to complete these exercises, and we're going to talk some more about this in class. Here's some picture forms of fractions, just to remind you what fractions look like in bar form.